Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. Let's start today's video off with a recent training update from Mr. Olympia Derek Lunsford at under 12 weeks out from this year's Olympia. And even though Derek already has the best back double on stage, I would say Nick Walker is a close second. Derek is still working on the back and gonna make the gap even bigger once they turn to the curtains for the back double and the rear leg spread. And going into this year's Olympia, my excitement is very high because I'm not really sure how this year's Olympia is going to turn out. I look at an update of Derek and I'm like, okay, he's going to repeat. And then I see Hottie and I'm like, maybe Hottie's actually going to win the title back. But I definitely think this year's Olympia is going to come down to those two once again. But you guys let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on the champ going into this year's Olympia? Are we seeing the start of a reign with Derek Lunsford and Honey Rambod? Is Derek about to win multiple Mr. Olympia titles, or are guys like Hottie Chupin, maybe even Nick Walker or Samson Dauda gonna make that tough for him? Speaking of Samson Dauda, we have a very impressive back double bicep update. And I'll be honest with you guys, Samson's back has been looking great for pretty much the last 2 months. But as we get closer to the Mr. Olympia, his back is still looking great, which makes me hopeful that we are going to see something similar to this on the Mr. Olympia stage. I've seen Samson's back look impressive in the offseason before, but it seems to lose size and volume as he dies down for the Mr. Olympia. Now we're currently under 12 weeks, so still about 3 months to go. So hopefully Samson is able to maintain this density on the back. And I know I've said numerous times I'm expecting a Hottie versus Derek at this year's Mr. Olympia, but if there was a guy to sneak into their top 2, my vote would be for Samson Dauda. I'm not saying he's gonna place top 2, but it's in the realm of possibility, especially from what I'm seeing in this back double bicep update. But of course, Samson has to bring the conditioning. And next up, we have a recent physique update from Rubiel Mosquera, also known as Nexzilla, and we will finally get to see this guy on stage this weekend at the Dubai Pro. Competitors list is finally out and there is no Andrew Jacked, so his biggest threats are going to be William Bonac, Nathan Diasha, as well as Beirut Tabani. We've all been hyping this guy up for weeks and weeks. He's been looking incredible online, working very hard in oxygen gyms. Let's see what he brings to the stage this weekend. I'm excited. Now, next up, we have somewhat of a recent update from Nick Walker. I really wanted to share this video on the left. Nick said him and Matt Jansen were trying some different types of cardio this prep to get shredded. And I'm not sure if you guys know, but swimming burns a ton of calories. And it's insane that Nick Walker can even swim this well at his current weight. But on the right, Nick Walker is basically saying he's coming for what's his in 12 weeks and he's gonna win the Mr. Olympia. He sat out last year due to an injury, but he heard the noise, he heard everything that was said, and he's coming back strong this year as Nick Walker finishes his lap on this pool. I couldn't even do this myself. Nick Walker doing this is just insane, but looking forward to seeing the mutant in under 12 weeks. And next up, we have a recent update from the conqueror William Bonac, who will be competing in Dubai this weekend. And I've heard a ton of rumors this year that this is going to be Bonac's last year competing. And with Bonac doing so many shows, I'm leaning towards this actually may be his last year competing, because if Bonac was still trying to win the Mr. Olympia, I think he would just win one show and qualify instead of doing multiple shows. But I think Bonac is making a good idea to rack up those checks before leaving the sport, if this is his last year. But I'm excited to see what Bonac can bring to the stage. I counted him out going into the Impro Classic versus Crizo and Beirut, and he ended up coming out with the win. But William is an older guy. This is going to be his 3rd show this year. No telling what we're going to get. And let's switch over to the latest update of Hunter Labrada, who is currently about 6 weeks out from the Italy Pro. Conditioning is looking great at 6 weeks out. And by the time we get to Italy, I'm pretty sure all of the top guys will be qualified. So I'm expecting Hunter to get a win there. So I'm already looking ahead to the Mr. Olympia. And the guy that he has to beat is Andrew Jacked. Now, we did not get to see the best version of Hunter at last year's Mr. Olympia. You could arguably say the Olympia version of Hunter was his worst version of last year. Tampa was the best. Texas was also pretty good prior to Hunter starting to fade on stage, and he was still the 6th best bodybuilder in the world. I want to see how does Hunter stack up against the best in the world at 100%, because I've said numerous times, Tampa Pro Hunter Labrada, in my opinion, places 4th at last year's Olympia. Very hypothetical statement, but those are my thoughts. And let's switch over to the latest update of Tonio Burton, who is the winner of this year's Cali Pro and currently the 8th best bodybuilder in the world. Tonio's goal going into this year's Olympia is simply to move up from 8th place. Michael Krizo, who was ahead of him last year, is going to be out of the show, so that is definitely possible. Antonio is still a wild card. I feel like he lost some hype after placing second to Rafa, also placing third in New York behind Nick and Martin, but I don't think he was that far behind Rafa. I think Tonio and Rafa are guys that could possibly get into their top 6, but without a doubt, I think they are both safe bets for a top 10, top 8 placing. But I'm excited to see what Tonio is going to bring. This guy always has a chip on his shoulder. Now, switching over to classic physique, I did want to talk about John Lockett. Now, some of you guys may not be familiar with John, some of you may. He's a friend of mine that I have covered on the channel a few times. John is 100% natural, and he is actually an IFBB pro now. He turned pro last year. He will be making his pro debut soon, but I just like to put John on the channel. He has a great physique, still natural as of now. I think this guy has a bright future. Now let's go ahead and wrap up today's video here with the archive of the day. You guys let me know in the comment section below, who is this legendary bodybuilder? And as always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. And if you have not done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.